Reports reaching me right now has it that after taking responsibility for boarding an Israeli-bound US commercial ship, the Iranian Navy has escalated the situation with another round of deployment. This time an armada of warships has taken position along the chokehold of the Strait of Hormuz, and there are also credible reports that the US Navy's Fifth Fleet is moving toward the Persian Gulf, in what many already fear could be the opening scene of a high-sea confrontation, a war that no one is ready for but that Washington and Tel Aviv are recklessly provoking. The United States has so far refused to send an aircraft carrier because it knows that the moment it crosses into range it could be obliterated by Yemeni drones or Iranian anti-ship missiles. So the limited deployment is just theatrics, a show of force with no real ability to alter the balance of power, because the reality is simple. Iran controls the waterway. The logistics, the geography and the political momentum and the seizure of this ship proves it. The seized tanker was allegedly carrying petroleum products to Israel, and if this is confirmed, then it marks a stunning collapse in US-Israeli logistical secrecy, since foreign nations should not have known its destination unless Iranian intelligence deeply penetrated their shipping networks. The ship was officially registered as heading to Singapore, yet was reportedly rerouted toward Israeli ports. And now the IRGC Navy's public relations has declared that in line with safeguarding the interests and resources of the Iranian nation, the tanker Talara has been legally seized by IRGC naval forces. This operation is already being twisted by Western propaganda outlets as Iranian aggression, so I urge you to like and share this video widely so that YouTube's suppression won't bury this truth. Subscribe if you haven't already, because it is free and it helps keep independent journalism alive. Now, speaking of the shadowy Israeli tanker, the rapid reaction units of the IRGC Navy began tracking the vessel immediately after receiving a judicial order mandating its seizure. The ship, commercially named Talara and flying the Marshall Islands flag, was carrying over 30,000 tons of petrochemical products and was intercepted in accordance with Iranian law and international maritime enforcement standards. The IRGC has stated that the operation was carried out as part of its duty to protect the national interests of the Islamic Republic, and that a full inspection is underway to verify the cargo, documentation and ownership of the vessel. And this development sends a clear warning to Washington and Tel Aviv that in any future conflict, the Strait of Hormuz will not simply be threatened, it will be shut down entirely, and foreign tankers destined for Israeli ports will be seized at will. This also signals that Iran is ready to retaliate against any nation that attempts to capture its own ghost fleet of oil tankers moving across international waters. The timing is also notable because new footage emerging from Russia shows elite Iranian pilots undergoing formal training with Sukhoi Su-35s. Only weeks after Pentagon analysts warned that Iran's defense posture is shifting from defensive to offensive. And another intriguing twist is that the seized ship is reportedly linked to an Israeli business group connected to Azerbaijan, and this is where the geopolitics gets fascinating. Because during the 12-day war, Ilham Aliyev allowed Israeli warplanes to operate freely in Azeri airspace, which means Iran may now be signaling that it will punish anyone participating in military scheming against it, and that includes the Aliyev family itself, whose financial empire runs through Pasha Holding, a conglomerate with over £11.8 billion in assets and branches in Turkey, Georgia and Cyprus. If confirmed, this seizure could be the first financial blow in a broader regional retaliation strategy, and Iran is openly saying that operations like this will continue while its nuclear program accelerates.
آمریکا و اسرائیل شلیک شد به میز مذاکرات ایران آمریکا برخورد کرد. ولی از طرف دیگه همین جنگ نشان داد که هیچ راهی جز دیپلماسی وجود نداره. اونچه که مقصود رژیم اسرائیل و آمریکا از این جنگ بود محقق نشد. به هیچ یک از اهدافشون نرسیدن و بلکه با شکستی مواجه شد. اگر هدف اونها از بین بردن برنامه هسته ایران بود، این محقق نشد. من بارها گفتم تأسیسات ممکنه تخریب بشن، تجهیزات ممکنه از بین برن، ولی تکنولوژی از طریق بمباران هوایی از بین نمیره و از اون مهمتر اراده ملت‌ها از طریق بمباران هوایی از بین نمیره. تأسیسات ما تخریب شده ولی تکنولوژی ما سر جاشه و اراده ما حتی محکم‌تر شد. و اکنون درخواست برای مذاکره مجددا شروع شد و این طبیعی هست، چون به آنچه که هدف داشتن در خصوص برنامه هسته ایران از طریق حمله نظامی نرسیدن و این حرفی بود که ما بارها میگفتیم که موضوع هسته ایران راه حل نظامی ندارد. این رو امتحان کردن و متوجه شدن که این راه حل درستی نیست. اما برای مذاکره و دیپلماسی یک قاعده‌ای وجود داره، یک مبنایی وجود داره. اینطور نیست که شما چیزی رو که در جنگ نرسیدی بهش بتونی از طریق مذاکره بهش برسی و بتونی خواسته های خودت رو تحمیل بکنی. اولین قدم در دیپلماسی و در مذاکره این هست که بپذیریم مذاکره با دیکته کردن، با زور گفتن تفاوت داره. در مذاکره داد و ستد مطرح هست، منافع متقابل مطرح هست. اینطور نیست که یک طرف بتونه به هر آنچه که میخواد.
Meanwhile, mainstream Western media is lying through its teeth once again by portraying Iran as the aggressor in this situation, when in reality regional leaders are furious at President Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, whose reckless belligerence turned diplomacy into tinder. Even Oman has openly stated that Israel now poses a far greater threat to peace than Iran ever has.
True security cannot be achieved through policies of isolation, containment, and exclusion. True security requires inclusivity, and history provides ample examples of this. Since the revolution of 1979, Iran has been seen as a threat. It was believed that Iran sought to export its revolution and destabilize its neighbors, and that the best solution would be a policy in which Iran was isolated and contained. In Oman's view, this was never a solution. Since around 1989, we observed that Iran has shown openness to rapprochement with the West and the desire to integrate into a regional status quo. And by engaging constructively with its neighbors, Iran could demonstrate that it is not a threat but a committed partner in fostering regional stability and cooperation. During the invasion and occupation of Kuwait in 1990, Iran demonstrated, in our view, considerable restraint. We saw this as a sign of its readiness to engage, and we advocated a collective and comprehensive regional security structure, optimistic that Iran might be included. Looking back, I believe that if such a structure had been established, the war that followed in 2003 could have been prevented and many lives could have been saved.
Take this extraordinary example. Israel publicly claimed Iran has no ability to seed clouds for rain, yet Iranian state media recently revealed that its domestically developed weather technology successfully induced rainfall in Elam, Kermanshah, Kurdistan, Loristan, and West Azerbaijan at a time when rainfall is down nearly 90% compared to historical levels. IRNA confirmed that snow has already begun falling on the Tokal mountain range near Tehran for the first time this year, and that cloud seeding may prevent mass evacuation of the capital. Iran, an arid nation long crippled by drought, has been fighting climate catastrophe with science, while Israel sells the lie that Iranians are technologically backward. Rainfall in Tehran is now at its lowest level in a century, and half the country has gone months without a drop of water. Yet Iran is using drones and atmospheric research to survive. In contrast, the West tells us that Israel is the beacon of innovation, but it is Iran, the so-called isolated rogue state, that is pushing scientific resilience and climate technology forward while surviving sanctions and sabotage campaigns. Thank you for staying with me to this point. I sincerely appreciate you. Support honest journalism by subscribing to this channel so we can keep reaching more people despite censorship. That is all I ask. And until I see you in the next video, God bless you.